Welcome to How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy, the stories behind the people driving results in the nonprofit sector.
Many of the people I'm speaking with, it's interesting, they're coming from very similar situations that they have missed an opportunity and they realize they need to incorporate this into their strategic plan. So whether they missed out on a particular gift, perhaps a board member had passed away and they never asked for a bequest, there's lots of missed opportunities out there. Really working with those executive directors and development directors, and also many fundraising consultants have been approaching me to help them work with their clients on this specific area as well.
Hi there. Welcome to How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy. I'm Tim Chatton, Marketing Solutionist at MarketSmart. Today on the show is Lori Kranczer, founder of Everyday Planned Giving. Lori brings an interesting perspective to this show as her consultancy is now only 5 months old. Her information should be especially beneficial for others looking to start their own consultancy. You can find more information about Lori at www.everydayplannedgiving.com. Here's my interview with Lori. I'm here today with Lori Kranczer of Everyday Planned Giving. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you.
So I was really excited to talk to you today because you're kind of new in your consultancy, and I've talked to a lot of people that are towards the end of their career and you're just starting out. So I'm really anxious to hear what the first, 5 months have been like so far. Is that right?
Yes, it's about 5 months now.
Tell me a little bit about your background. It looks like you've been in the nonprofit world for about 16 years now.
That's correct. Prior to that, I was a practicing attorney. I left when I wanted to find more of a connection to what I was doing in my professional life.
Excellent. So you were at the Hillel International for 7 years as the director of planned giving. Can you talk a little bit about kind of experience you learned there?
Absolutely. It was actually my work at Hillel that prompted me to think about going into consulting. I worked on several cohorts, legacy cohorts, where I brought together anywhere between 5 and 14 organizations to run up on a 2-year program, each of them, build their endowments and their planned giving program. By working with all these different organizations, I really felt great satisfaction working with many different organizations building their programs. And that's when I decided that this is what I think I'd like to do, and help other organizations work on their programs as well.
So the law degree that you probably don't do much with that now, what was your original aspirations doing the law degree? Did you want to be a court lawyer or?
After I graduated from law school, my goal was really to practice law for about 5 years, and then I wanted to go work for Planned Parenthood. So I always had a goal of working within a nonprofit. I'm not really practicing law anymore. As you mentioned, I do quasi-legal work. So when I'm working with my nonprofits to help them with their planned giving, we get things like trusts and gift annuities, estates. There is some quasi-legal work that I'm working on now.
Now, you're new in your consultancy. Did you develop a business strategy before you officially kicked off, or what was that like at the very, very beginning?
It wasn't really much of a strategy. I created a list of all my contacts that I wanted to reach out to, that I thought I'd be able to provide services for them. And I had some goals. It wasn't a full-blown plan.
Okay. What's your approach? What makes you different from the other consultants out there?
What I'm doing now is working with many small and mid-size organizations. I really do feel that planned giving is an important part to every organization, no matter how small or big the budget size, who their donors are, how big their list is. It's necessary to sustain their future. And after working in large organizations for most of my career, I realized that there's a lot that I can bring to smaller organizations now.
Excellent. As I was looking through your materials you sent me, I noticed something that jumped out, which was legacy cohorts. What is it, and why is that such a powerful thing for you and your approach?
So that's what I mentioned before. Not only do I do individualized consulting for nonprofits, but I also group nonprofits together that have maybe a like-minded mission or budget size or geography, that once they're pulled together as a group and they're given all the resources and the tools and the training and the coaching necessary to create their own planned giving program. So it's a very cost-effective, turnkey approach that they'll need to do a lot of the work creating their plan, thinking about their goals for the year. But what's great about it is that they get to work collaboratively with each other. So they're set up on a platform that they can communicate with each other about best practices, about their successes, ask others for resources, for samples of letters or marketing materials. So it's a really wonderful way for organizations to feel part of a larger group. We provide them like all the templates that they'll need and tip sheets. They need to execute on them.
Okay. Now, your last job before starting your consultancy, were there frustrations that encouraged you to start your own business, or what was the inspiration to do so?
Really, the inspiration was I enjoy working with lots of different organizations. And while it was great to work on Hillel's program, I had a lot of personal satisfaction and professional satisfaction on seeing lots of different programs being built. And so sometimes when you're working as a consultant, it's more project-based, which is what I enjoy more.
What's your marketing approach? How do you find new clients? You mentioned you had a list you developed. Are you reaching outside of that list, or are you still working on the original list?
Still working on my list. It's actually been amazing. I used to teach plan giving at NYU about 9 years ago for several years. Since then, I just have a really great contact list I've been reaching out to. So far, it's just been word of mouth. I am working on doing some marketing materials, and my website will be live in September. It's really more word of mouth and just connecting with everyone that I know.
Do you have a domain name picked out for the new site yet?
I do. It's everydayplangiving.com.
That's a great domain. Very simple and easy to remember. What makes an ideal client for you? Who are you looking for? Who do you want to work with?
It's really about working with individuals at a nonprofit that understand the need for legacy giving to reach their long-term goals. And many of the people I'm speaking with, it's interesting, they're coming from very similar situations that they have missed an opportunity and they realize they need to incorporate this into their strategic plan. So whether they missed out on a particular gift, perhaps a board member had passed away and they never asked for a bequest, there's lots of missed opportunities out there. Really working with those executive directors and development directors. And also many fundraising consultants have been approaching me to help them work with their clients on this specific area as well.
Okay. You're 5 months into your consultancy. Is it full-time yet, or you have other side gigs while this business is growing?
So I am still with Hillel International, and I hope to go full-time consulting, and Hillel is going to be one of my clients. Mm-hmm. I hope that will happen fairly soon.
I've heard some other stories from consultants that the organization they were at prior, they just changed roles and became a consultant for them. That's something I've heard more than once. Do you have a goal for the number of clients you need to be able to go full-time with it?
It really depends on how large the project is for each client. I would say 3 to 5 clients at a time is a good number, but it really depends. Some clients just need bequest administration and, just be available to guide them through some issues that they may have. And some need a full-blown plan giving program that's customized to them. And that takes a lot more time. If I have a range of clients at any given time, and around 4 would be ideal.
Okay. What's the business model? Are you retainer-based, hourly, project? What's your model?
I won't do hourly. I feel that I never want anyone to be concerned about contacting me if they have a question, that I'm going to charge them for that. When I practice law, that's what my life is like. I rather do projects now. I discuss it with my client at the beginning, and we figure out what needs to get done, who's going to do what the goals are. We have the timeline framed out, and that's it. Then get to work. If they contact me several times or never, I'm getting the project done. I always wind up doing more than I think about in the beginning, but it's because I want to get done correctly. But I do have some clients on retainer also that if they need me to do particular items that may come up.
Do you have any business mentors?
Luckily, I have so many mentors out there that have helped so much when I took the leap to start consulting. Having the frame of mind as being a consultant is much different than being an employee. I've called upon several people, but I do have one in particular that I've worked with for years now, and he's also encouraged me for years to do consulting. So I have him to thank.
And any single piece of advice that jumps out to you that's been really beneficial for you?
To start out, if I had to give any advice to someone thinking about doing this, is really to start networking, going to events, teaching classes, doing presentations. There's so many places, wherever anyone is, I'm sure, to volunteer to teach a class. And I've been doing that for several years. I enjoy coaching and teaching, but it's been very helpful now that I've considered going into consulting, that I've called upon a lot of people that I've spoken to in the past, and many of them are turning into clients.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're based out of New York City, right?
I am.
Are there any support groups that are out there for consultants to interact in like a big group setting to learn from each other in that way?
There are many organized fundraising groups in New York, and I recommend joining them to network. And then what has been very helpful to me are smaller groups that have just started organically from a few people getting together and talking, having coffee. And so now I'm part of two separate groups of about 10 people in each of them. We're different phases of consulting, different areas of fundraising consulting. And it's been also a wonderful way to generate leads and also share resources.
Nice. Now, as you grow to a larger size, what kind of tasks do you hope to be able to delegate to someone else, such as like an assistant or virtual assistant?
Probably expenses. I think I need to graduate from the envelope and the Excel spreadsheet. And that is something that I need to hand off to someone at some point.
Do you have any favorite tools you use to run your new business and get the job done?
I had been using Asana to do my lists, my tasks, and then I was finding I wasn't utilizing the software as I could.
Yeah.
So I realized that I'm very much a pen and paper type of person. What I do every day is map out on paper my day. It's a list, and it's also a calendar on paper broken out in 15-minute increments throughout the day of what I'm going to get done. I find that to be very productive for me.
Excellent. Now, what's your typical schedule like?
I do about 10 to 15 new contacts a week of networking, either with other consultants or potential new business. That's my goal for the week. And otherwise, I am working on my clients' projects. And I also try to block off some time to produce some materials, such as PowerPoints that I'm going to do presentations regarding, or to draft articles, things of that nature, new business development.
What have been the biggest challenges you've run up against these first few months?
Planning my schedule has been the most difficult, to try to find that sweet spot of when I'm going to be doing work for my clients and when I'm going to be doing new business development, because they sort of pool together and pour into the day. And sometimes I can't help it that I'm working on a client's project and I have a call coming in from a new client. But I think trying to figure out my schedule and frame out the week so I could be more productive.
Okay. Now, you're New York City based. There's a lot of nonprofits based in New York City. Is that the clientele you're looking for? Is it all local so you can meet face to face really easily?
I have been meeting with a lot of New York City area nonprofits, but I do have some that are outside the city. And as being an employee of Hillel International for 7 years and working with Hillels all over the country, I am very well adept at speaking with and engaging with clients all over. As long as I can Skype, call, email, we need to visit, all of that could be arranged. So I'm not just sticking with New York.
Gotcha. You mentioned you're in the process of getting a website launched. Are you outsourcing that? What's the process like for building that for you?
I picked the URL and the template that I wanted. As I mentioned before, I've been very busy, so it's hard to fit everything in. So that's one of the things I definitely suggest, is to outsource things that you can. So I did hire a copywriter to draft the copy for it. And once that is finalized, it will go live.
And what other promotional assets for your company are you in the process of creating? Are there any handouts and things of that nature that you're working on?
I'm going to have a couple of templates and resources on the website that people can download and use as they'd like. And then I also offer free consultations with anyone that wants to talk about anything plan giving related. Other than that, I have some articles and presentations that I will be doing for different organizations in the fall. So those will be released soon.
Okay. I was wondering, you're very new in the consultancy. Have you gone through the process of setting up business accounts? And what's the whole process like of getting a business registered?
I did set it up as an LLC, which I recommend anyone doing if they are starting a business. It's not that expensive to do, and it protects you from liability and other things. So it's always good to set up an LLC. Other than that, just setting up a bank account for the LLC, and you don't want to commingle your funds and you want to be able to track expenses better. So everything should be separate.
When we return, a quick lightning round with Lori. First quick break, we will learn how to access a free report about planned giving marketing from us here at MarketSmart. Lori, as you know, specializes in planned giving. Well, as a nice supplement to this episode, I'd encourage you to download a free report from us here at MarketSmart. The report covers 26 really interesting planned giving marketing stats and is available at imarketsmart.com/plannedgivingstats. The report is filled with informative charts and graphs that will be pretty eye-opening and reinforce why Lori focuses in on this area of giving. Visit imarketsmart.com/plannedgivingstats to access it. That's www.imarketsmart.com/plannedgivingstats. With that, let's get to the lightning round with Lori. What's the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Keep focused on the long term.
What book would you recommend to those getting started and why?
I recommend reading anything related to their field. However, there's a wonderful book for nonprofit regarding data. And I'm sorry, the name escapes me.
It might be Data-Driven Nonprofits, maybe?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I know that one's a good one. Do you have a favorite industry to work within?
I haven't worked with arts organizations yet, and I'm starting to, and I'm really enjoying working with them.
Do you have a favorite personal productivity habit?
Like I mentioned before, I do lots of lists and break out my day into 15-minute increments.
What's the best under $100 purchase you've made in the last month or so?
QuickBooks.
Do you have a favorite monthly subscription or service you're signed up for?
I listen to Spotify every day. Classical music is very helpful for me when I'm doing long periods of drafting.
Yeah, I'm the same way. What's an interesting or fun fact about you that most people don't know?
I wanted to be an architect.
What's one of your most important passions outside of work?
I love old houses. I have a very old house in Brooklyn, a Victorian house, and I love to fix it up.
Yeah, with architecture, those two go hand in hand, right? And New York City is a great town for architecture, like just looking around the city. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite word?
Build.
Desk or car, what would you clean first?
I would clean my desk first. The car has crumbled Oreos in it from my kids. So I would definitely do my desk first.
Do you have a favorite kind of animal?
Dog.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee, definitely.
What do clients never ask you that you wish they did?
How to incorporate planned giving within their existing program. They don't have to have a whole separate program for it, but they can incorporate it into what they're doing already.
What's the most common error you see nonprofits make?
Well, certainly not incorporating legacy and keeping it separate, but also not engaging their donors.
And what charities do you admire or support?
There are so many. I really have such respect for the nonprofit area. On a personal level, I do have an admiration for guide dog work. I have adopted a few dogs from Guiding Eyes for the Blind, so I have a lot of respect for them.
And where can people find more information about your services?
So I can be reached at Lori, Lori, at everydayplannedgiving.com or through my LinkedIn site.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Lori, for your time today. It's been fantastic hearing about your first few months running your brand new consultancy, Everyday Planned Giving.
Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of How I Built My Fundraising Consultancy, presented by MarketSmart. If you like the show, make sure to review it on iTunes and pass it along to a friend or colleague. If you're curious about what we do, make sure to check out imarketsmart.com. And don't forget to download the free Planned Giving report by visiting www.imarketsmart.com/plannedgivingstats. Thanks for listening.